Hello everyone, myself Nimisha Shah, consulting dietitian and sports nutritionist. I am holding a master degree in food and nutrition. I am a certified diabetic educator. I am a certified sports nutritionist. First of all, I would like to pass on my sincere gratitude to entire UNMICRC team who is working really hard behind this YouTube educational channel. And with this, I would like to thank my fellow dietitian, Ms. Poonam Brahmbhatt, who has invited me for sharing my expertise and my experience in the field of sports nutrition. Friends, recently during this Paris Olympic 2024, we have witnessed a various of events. Some of events which makes us happy, and some of the events were there which makes us feel sad, and really we felt left out. So because of the social media discussion were going on, and I hope that now the Indian population are aware that apart from the athletes hard work, it is the whole sports science team who is working behind the athlete performance. With them, their coach, their sports physiotherapists, their sports psychologists, their sports nutrition, entire sports science department is working to grab the medal for our country and make us feel proud. So today I choose the one of the important parameters, sports nutrition, to speak on that why it is important for the athletic performance. Over a period of time, now it has been greatly changing over the years, the phenomena that the eating meat and eggs are only enough as in a pre-competition meal. Now people and the athletes are more aware that the proportional amount of carbohydrate and amino acids are very important for the better recovery, for the better performance. Today's high performing athletes are more aware of the benefits of carefully structured food and their fluids intake to enhance their daily training, their speedy recovery, and optimize their nutritional performance. I always say that the success of any athletes depend on the three factors. One is their training program, second one their genetic makeup, third one is nutrition. Right now, genetic makeup is something which we cannot change. This is something which we are having inherent from our parents, from our forefathers. Like training program in nutrition is something on the athlete hand where they can work on it. On this picture, I would like to quote one example. Everyone knows the this Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt, the superhero. Now, if we analyze his body physics, we can see he is having his high calves, elongated muscle, this Achilles tendon, and he is having a good lean frame, which help him to run on the track smoothly. Now, there are research which is saying that almost not only Usain Bolt, but 70% Jamaicans is having actin gene in this slow twitch muscle fiber, which help them to run faster. But only Usain Bolt proved him, and who stood differently among the 70% and become the fastest sprinter of the world. So not only genetic makeup is sufficient, it is your training program, and nutrition also plays a vital role in your performance. So to moving ahead, why sports nutrition, what exactly it is and why it is so important. Friends, sports nutrition is basic foundation of athletic success. It is a well-designed nutrition plan that allows any athlete to perform their best. It supplies the right type of food, energy, nutrient, and time to time fluids to keep their body well hydrated so they can perform at their peak level. Sports nutrition is very unique. It is tailor-made like our designer clothes. It is planned according to individual goals. So a sports nutrition diet vary day to day depending on their exercise strategy and their requirement of energy. So what are the nutrients they required? See, as a layman, what we required energy, carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamin, minerals, fluids, and electrolyte. The same nutrient requirement our athletes are having, but the proportion is very different. The time is very different. This energy, carbohydrate, protein and fats, which are the our macronutrient. These vitamin, minerals are our micronutrient, and fluid and electrolytes. So let's discuss in the details that how much and when to plan this. So what exactly nutrient? When we eat food, it supplies energy, because whenever we talk about the exercise, whenever we talk about any voluntary activities or involuntary activities, there is a need of a supply of energy, and that we received from the food we eat. Now this nutrient is supplied by our food in the form of carbohydrate, fat and protein. Now when we eat the food, this nutrient get metabolized and that converted into the ATP, which is the energy currency in our body to perform the various day-to-day tasks. So when we eat carbohydrate, that get metabolized into the glucose and finally it converted into the ATP. In protein, it get metabolized to amino acid and it converted into the ATP. In fats, if we talk, it metabolized into fatty acid and get converted into the ATP. Now, why they required energy? As I told you earlier, when there is any output, we require to we need to supply something, right? So we can have energy outcome. Now for the sports person or any person who is doing exercise or athlete who are in the high performance, their requirement of energy widely depend upon the intensity of the activity which they are involved. And as per the intensity of the sports, energy they required, we have divided these sports into two categories. One is the power sports and another one is the non-power sports. So there are few systems in our body which help us to generate energy to perform this intensity workout. Like there are two energy pathways in our body. One is anaerobic pathways. Anaerobic pathway, I can describe in a one sentence. It is a pathway which doesn't require oxygen to supply energy, whereas aerobic pathway which required oxygen to supply energy. So energy requirement, if we see for power categories, sports like throwers, sprinter, this jumpers, boxing, wrestling, weightlifter, they almost required 3500 to 6000 kilocalorie per day. Whereas this non-power categories sports like skill based sports, especially like archery and gymnastic, they require almost 3500 to 4500 kilocalorie per day. Now here we'll see what exactly this International Olympic Committee has to say about the energy availability for the athletes. They are saying that athletes require, if high energy for growth and gain, they are looking forward for body mass gain, then the energy calculation on the based on the more than 45 kilocalorie than the fat free mass. If they want adequate energy availability and if the athletes in the weight maintenance program, then 45 kilocalorie per fat free body mass is sufficient. If athletes having a reduced metabolic rate or they are looking for a weight loss, then we can plan 30 to 45 kilocalorie per kg fat free mass. If athlete is consuming less than 30 kilocalorie per kg fat free mass, then there will be low energy availability and there is a chances of the health implication. So let's discuss our first nutrient, that is carbohydrate, which is the cheapest source of energy, and it is really very important for the athletes because it is vital to help reach peak performance during the exercise performance because they provide energy and muscle gain. You must be thinking that when there is a talk of muscle gain, there is always a protein. What to do with the carbohydrate? Now, while we are consuming carbohydrate in the sufficient amount and while we are exercising, there is a utilizing the glycogen store, and if the glycogen store is not sufficient, then nutrients such as fat or muscle protein are utilized to make energy. And with the correct amount of carbohydrate available to muscle protein can be free to do its main job for repairing and rebuilding muscle tissue with maximizing muscle gain. So basically what doing, carbohydrates pairing our other nutrient, energy giving nutrient, protein and fat, so they can perform their own work, and carbohydrate supplies the energy to perform. So that's why it is helping in the muscle gain also. Now, why carbohydrates are important for the athletes? Because it is the optimal fuel for the exercise, right? It training depletes the glycogen store, and if it is not refueled quickly as soon as possible the post workout, then there will be less performance, the poor performance and the poor recovery for the athletes. So there may be the chances of the fatigue also. So requirement of carbohydrate depends on the intensity of the energy and duration and the type of their training phase. Now consuming carbohydrate with every meal is very important. That's what I suggest to my athletes. Now when we eat carbohydrate, it broken down into the glucose, it absorbed into the bloodstream, right? And it is utilized for the energy, as I mentioned earlier, through the ATP, because glucose get converted, supply the energy through ATP. Now almost we know that carbohydrate should provide minimum 50% of the body's energy requirement. If we consume more than 50%, then the extra carbohydrate will convert it into the fat and our body fat store will increase, right? So we should take in the prescribed amount. Now there are two types of carbohydrate which supplies the energy, depends on the requirement. Like if you need the quick source of energy, then you can use the simple carbohydrate, which is the quickest source of energy, like our table sugar, good, honey, glucose, everything are simple sugar. Now when you require a continuous gradually release of the energy or glucose, then you can have a complex carbohydrate sources of food like our banana, then our pulses, millets, our potato. These are the good source of the complex carbohydrate. Now there are certain guidelines has given by the many studies and many researches that how much carbohydrate a person should consume. As I told you earlier, that it depends on their activity workload. If they are doing light workout, right, or they are on the resting phase or just walking like that, then low intensity, or they are into the sports which required more of skill like gymnastic or racket sports, then only 3 to 5 gram per kg per day is sufficient. If the person is into the moderate activity, like they are doing the exercise for more than 1 hour per day, then it is a moderate exercise program. After moderate workout, they have to replenish their glycogen store also. So there you can plan 5 to 7 gram per kg per day. If the person is in a high workout where the I can say endurance program is 1 to 3 hours a day and it is moderate to high intensity, then they require the energy supply for the longer duration of time. So we should plan 6 to 10 gram per kg per day. If they are in the like race day or very high energy supply is needed and very high activity, they are doing extreme commitment, if it is more than 4 to 5 hours, then the carbohydrate consumption should be 8 to 12 gram per kg per day. Now after carbohydrate, the second nutrient I would like to speak on the protein. Now protein is, when we talk about the protein, we know the another word comes click to our mind is our muscle, so it is very important for the muscle building as well. It is important for our tissue repair, right? It is important for our recovery post exercise. During the corona period, we understand that this protein is very important for our immune system also, right? Now for a general population, for a general Indian, the requirement of protein is 2.8 gram to 1 1 gram per kg of body mass. So while for a people who are doing like low intensity workout, you can plan like 15 to 20% of total calories of protein should be there. Here I have given you one visual ad where you can see that the person who are in a sedentary lifestyle, like a person who are in the desk job, or a person like me who are in the teaching, or they required only 56 grams per protein. But here you can see this is 56 gram according for the person who are weighing 70 kg. So you have to keep in the mind the weight is also like ideal, right? Now person who are weighing 70 kg but they are doing endurance workout, which we can say like moderate workout, then the protein requirement will be 84 to 98 gram. But the person who are in the power sports, right, like weightlifter, or who are engaged in the strength workout, then their protein requirement goes up compared to this endurance person, because the requirement will be reach from 84 to 100 to 19. Now you would definitely like to know that what are the food sources from where we can get this much amount of protein. So while you are thinking of protein, you have to think about the type of the food sources. One is the animal food sources and another one is the plant food. Now animal food, like you can see in the pictures, milk product, our paneer, eggs, this your fish, mutton, chicken, then your cheese, and the whey protein which we get from the milk, all are the good source of animal protein, right? And another are our nuts and oil seeds, our this soya bean, lentils, right, beans. These all are a good source of plant protein. Now apart from the person who are having sedentary lifestyle, where I mentioned 0.8 gram per kg of body weight protein should be supplied, there are person who are into the athletic performance. If the person is in the recreational, then the protein plan should be 1.1 to 1.4 gram per kg of body weight. If the person is into the endurance, then we can plan 1.2 to 1.4 gram per kg of body weight. And as I told you earlier, when there is a strength workout or power athletes who required more amount of energy or more compared to endurance and the recreational athlete, then there is a definitely requirement of protein also goes up, because overall the energy consumption is more. Then we can plan 1.2 to 1.7 gram per kg of body weight. Now many a time question comes to us to be dietitian that this plant protein are sufficient enough, or do we need to take any supplements? That's the reason I put this picture over here, which is showing you the quality of protein. Like you can see here the title, the type of the protein, protein efficiency ratio. Another term you can read here, biological value, net protein utilization, and the Pedicast score of the protein. Now here you can see both the sources, like animal protein source and plant protein source, and here I have given the comparison value where you can see the egg is the egg protein is the having the highest biological value protein, and their Pedicast score is also 1, which is the very highest. Almost all animal protein is having a good Pedicast ratio, because they are carrying all the amino acids, and we always tell it is a complete protein because it carries all the essential amino acid which we should consume from the diet. Whereas you can find from the plant source there are lacking 1 or 2 amino acid, and that's the reason we always say it is a little incomplete protein, because it is lagging in the 1 or 2 amino acids. But if you are a vegan or you are not consuming animal product, there is no need of disappointment. You can consume by the combining this plant protein source with the milk, or if you are combining the one plant protein where like one amino acid is lacking, and we can combine with the other plant protein sources where we can supplement all the amino acid and we can make it complete protein, right? So the reason of discussing the high quality protein sources and to make you understand, okay, what is complete protein and what is the incomplete protein, my objective was is कि protein as a nutrient plays a very important role in the recovery meal. I mean in the post exercise. In the post exercise meal, for athlete we should aim minimum 20 to 25 gram of protein, and that too from the high quality protein as soon as after their exercise session. And if it is possible, we should keep in mind there should be 3 gram of leucine in the that meal what they supply as a protein source, and minimum 8 to 10 gram of essential amino acid, right? So then the recovery would be more better, right, and less fatigue. Moving forward, like after carbohydrate, protein, and then there is another one macronutrient, that is fat. And the major energy source supply, because it is very energy dense protein, it almost supply the double calorie than the carbohydrate and fat. Uske like function, if we see it, help us to regulate our body temperature, because it gives that insulated effect to our body. It is protecting our vital organs like our heart, brain, liver by providing them cushion like effect, right? And it is very important for a fat soluble vitamin like vitamin A, D, E and K for their transportation and absorption. So fat is an energy source athletes are using during specially aerobic exercise, both fat and carbohydrate as in a fuel. Aerobic exercise, say for example, it is jogging, biking and swimming. And during anaerobic exercise, which are generally high intensity workout, the carbohydrate is the main source of energy, and it decreases the amount of fat, right? So fat is very important, especially for this aerobic exercise, which is for a longer duration of time. Now, why athlete need fat? Because whenever we use these terms, we have a bit of negative feeling that we shouldn't eat the fat. We should minimize the consumption of it. But it has its own role, and it is very important because first though it manage our blood sugar, because it avoid the spikes and crashes of the energy which happens during the exercise performance. It's gives the feeling of satisfaction because it makes us feel full after eating the meal. It supports our hormonal balance. It is a good building blocks of the hormones. It helps in the muscle recovery by repairing our soft tissue. It plays a vital role in our neurotransmitter production because it plays a role in the cognitive functions. It helps to build and maintain our neuron because it plays a role in the neuronal development. So definitely we need certain amount of energy from the food sources, but there are certain types of fat like saturated fat and the trans fatty acid which we need to limit because they are having some bad effect on our health. Here you can see some pictures of the food in like a video, that the pizza, your french fries, your burger, these are carrying high amount of trans fatty acid. Almost all the bakery products, I always say no to them, right? Now what should be the percentage of this fat nutrients in your diet? Like above all the calories, 20 to 30% energy intake should come from the fat sources, right? Now your if you want to count depending on the athlete's body weight, then you can count 0.8 to 1.5 gram per kg body weight your fat. Now there should be always a good combination of the fatty acid like your PUFA, MUFA, in the right proportion. We should not rely on the one type of the fat. Moving forward, after the macronutrient, we need to discuss micronutrient also, because although they are not providing us any energy but plays a vital role in the energy metabolism. Now we know the micronutrient which we are getting from our food are our water soluble vitamin, fat soluble vitamin. Now water soluble vitamin umbrella, we got the B complex group and vitamin C. Now your vitamin B1, that is your thiamine, riboflavin, pyridoxine, folic acid, B12, niacin. Then your vitamin B5, that is pantothenic acid and biotin. These all the B group vitamins works as a cofactor and activator for energy metabolism. So whatever the energy you are getting from the macronutrient, that is from your carbohydrate, protein and fat, from their conversion, matlab energy conversion, you required this B group of vitamin, and this B1, B2, B6, your folic acid, B12 and niacin is also important for the muscle contraction. And while we are into the exercise, it plays a very important role. We need this pyridoxine and vitamin C for the hemoglobin synthesis, right, and for the immune function. This riboflavin is also good antioxidant. Water soluble vitamin, there is another category which is fat soluble vitamin, and under the title of fat soluble vitamin we have vitamin A, D, E and K. From this group, vitamin A, vitamin E and our beta carotene is very important for the immune function. We know vitamin D is very important for the bone metabolism also, and this vitamin E and E are very good antioxidant. If we see the macro minerals which we are getting from our food, that are our sodium, potassium, calcium and magnesium, which plays a very important role in the muscle contraction and the nervous function. Here magnesium is also good activator for our energy metabolism, immune function and the bone metabolism, right? Although trace elements we require in very less amount, but you can see that iron, zinc, copper and selenium are not only important for our immunity, but they are also good antioxidant agent, right? Iron we required for synthesis of RBC, and this iron, zinc, copper and chromium together are also a good activator for energy metabolism. So although they required in very minute amount, but plays a very important role. Although we do not need to have a micronutrient supplement if we are taking enough proportion of the nutrient in our diet, as I discussed earlier, but there are certain conditions we come across that in such situation we need to supply this this tiny micronutrient which we required in very little amount through the supplement, like condition if we see where there is a specific nutrient deficiency have been identified by any pathological reports, like your B12 deficiency, D3 deficiency. If the person is having iron deficiency anemia, then that can be cured by the supplementation. What happened during the period of weight loss, when you are not taking the enough calorie or enough energy and the proportion of nutrient is not balanced, then you require the micronutrient supplement. Sometimes if you are excluding particular group of the nutrient, like someone is following a vegan diet, or somebody is not having a gluten in their diet, then there are certain chances of the deficiency, and which can be supplied by the micronutrient supplement. If some group of people are suffering from any allergic, like this lactose intolerance, and they are not consuming milk and milk products, then if it is they are not consuming the balanced diet, or they are not supplying the nutrient which we are getting from the milk and milk product from the other food, then they require micronutrient supplementation. Or if they are some of group of people, I would say, if they are going on the high altitude training camps, right, and their hemoglobin, or I mean to say their iron level is poor, So there will be difficulty in the adaptation of this high altitude. So there will be difficulty in breathing. So prior to going any this high altitude training camps, they need to correct their iron status, and they can correct it with the supplementation, right? Especially in the female, if they are having a chronic inadequate energy intake, which is including this menstrual dysfunction and low mineral density, then we need to correct it with the micronutrient supplement. Sometimes what happened that they are traveling to this their competition or their training camp, and there they are served with the unfamiliar foods which they not like to consume, and there may be the issue of food hygiene and food safety, and they are not consuming it. Then we can give an idea of micronutrient supplement in such a situation. Now how much micronutrient we should supply through the supplementation? Then the research are saying, the evidence which we have, that they are saying that vitamin in a product should not be exceed more than 500 of the daily value, and we should check the minerals should not exceed 100% of the daily value, right? There is a no any performance benefits if we are keep on taking this micronutrient supplement, right? So better not to consume if you are not deficient in particular any micronutrient. Now after discussion of this all the macronutrient and micronutrient, there is a one important other nutrient which not providing us any energy, although it is very important for us, because our human body, 60% of human body is made up of what? It is made up of water, and our brain, which is very important for us, that also carries 73% of water. So while we are exercising, there is a production of energy, and during this energy production we lose some amount of water, because there are so much activities going on in our human body, and eventually we step out in the stage of dehydration. So we have to keep in the mind to keep ourselves hydrated. Your hydration goal should be like that. You should prevent the dehydration, excessive changes in electrolyte balance to avoid the compromise performance, because it very seriously affect your performance. You have to learn to see or understand the sign of dehydration. Like you yourself can check if there is a dark yellow urine color, if the amount of volume has been changed, like it has been reduced, if you are not feeling urinating every 2 to 4 hours, if there is a headache, fatigue, weakness, dizziness, nausea, then all are this sign of the dehydration. See, you yourself plan to hydrate yourself before you are thirsty. That is the best way to prevent the dehydration. So here are the some fluid replacement guidelines before the activity, during the activity, and after the activity. Like prior to activity, before 1 to 2 hours, you can allow or you can suggest 500 ml just plain cold water is sufficient, and before prior to 10 to 15 minutes up to 600 ml plain cold water, diluted fruit juice, or like some glucose electrolyte drink we can recommend. During activity, like if athlete feel every 10 to 15 minutes like 150 to 250 ml plain cold water, glucose electrolyte drink, or diluted fruit juice which is not carrying any fiber, that can be supplied. During after activity, we should give the this water as soon as possible in the form of glucose electrolyte drink. We should start immediately to compensate the loss in the body weight, right? And which you can continue till the 2 to 3 hours they feel completely rehydrated. Now, pre-exercise meal is very important. Always people ask you what I should eat before the exercise, or I should go for the with the empty stomach. Whether if I eat something before the exercise, it will become hindrance to my performance. So here are certain guidelines that I would like to mention. That it is important that you are fueled properly, because what you eat, that helps you to prevent the symptoms of hypoglycemia, which can interfere with your exercise performance. If you have a good pre-exercise meal which settle your stomach, absorb some of the gastric juice and decrease your hunger during the exercise, and it will also help to fuel your muscles both with the food eaten in advance and stored as a glycogen. So it will give stored some extra energy in the form of glycogen in your body, so with the food you eaten within an hour, to pacify the mind with the knowledge that the body is elsewhere fueled. Now when we discuss the pre-exercise meal, here I would like to mention about the post-exercise meal, because this is a recovery meal and it is also very important. Here you can see I always recommend that the post-exercise meal is always a comprise of unsaturated fat, lean proteins and the fast absorbed carbohydrate. Whenever people always think to supply protein post exercise, but that is wrong. There should be a good combination of carbohydrate, protein and unsaturated fat. Especially I always mention it should be 4:1 ratio, like 4 part of protein and 1 part of carbohydrate while you are planning a recovery meal. So when you eat after a hard workout and competition, it will affect your recovery. You'll have a good repair of your muscle, and food eaten after exercise is the very selection should be very careful as the meal before exercise. So both the meal is very important, that pre-exercise meal and the post-exercise meal. I always say when there is a recovery meal, there are 3 R's. That is, I always say it is described as a refuel, rehydrate and rebuild. Refuel, you have to refuel yourself with the carbohydrate rich food which will help you to replenish your glycogen store for your next training session. So it is very important, right, to having a carbohydrate to refuel your glycogen store. Now rehydrate, it is in terms of the hydration, because you have a loss of water in the form of sweat. So to ensure you start your next training session, you should be fully hydrated. Like water and snacks are fine, you can have a juice which is mostly carbs, and this natural recovery drink, I always say that is chocolate milk, which is a good combination of carbs and protein that allows you to get carbs while you rehydrate. And third R is for rebuild, because you required repairing of your muscle tissue, right, which is very important for your recovery. So 20 gram of protein within a 30 minutes of exercise, which is I always suggest 500 ml of milk will sufficient enough to provide you 20 gram of protein, which you can have. That also carries lactose like carbohydrate. So it is a good combination of protein and carbohydrate which you can have in your recovery meal. Now this is something which I have shown here for your easy understanding, which has been published in International Journal of Sports Science and Nutrition, like the day which athletes are having a easy training day, like in a situation they are tapering their training schedule after the competition, or the day where they are in the phase where they are planning for the weight management, or they are doing very light activity. That time they do not need to have a good supply of carbohydrates. So you can see in this plate that 50% of the plate should be filled with the vegetables and fruits, where you can choose your raw vegetables, your salad, your cooked vegetables, your soups, fresh fruits, everything. And 1/3 of plate should be filled with the lean protein and 1/3 of with the carbohydrate source. If you are looking for a weight management, or if you are planning to reduce weight, here you can see one thin line I have mentioned in the picture, like they are showing that you can again little bit reduction of the carbs you want, then you can have. You can. A second plate I am showing you here, that is for the moderate training. Now when there is a moderate exercise, moderate workout, you required a replenish, right? Because in moderate training you are working almost for the 2 session. One session is will be for your skill, right, like skill you required for your type of the sports, and one session you need really hard workout like your endurance workout. So in such type of training you can plan your plate in this manner, like 1/3 of your plate should be filled with the vegetables, then 1/3 will be filled with the carbohydrate, and 1/4 will be lean protein. So this will help you to perform better. When you are having a hard training day, or I can say race day, where you required lot of energy, right? So when there is a lot of energy requirement, there is a requirement of carbohydrates. So in such a day, while you are working very hard for both the sessions, then in such situation your plate should be filled. 50% of plate should be filled with the carbohydrate, because it is the sole supply of the energy. 1/3 of plate we can fill with the vegetables, and 1/3 of plate we can fill with the protein. So this is the planning which you can have on the race day. Although in the season, off season, recovery meal, you need to alter. This is the general idea I have given, that a person can plan according to their training session. But it is very important that you need to choose wisely your nutrition, and proportion of the nutrient is very important, which can help for the better athletic performance, and the other hand it will reduce the chances of sports injury. I always say a great diet cannot make average athlete elite, but a poor diet can make an elite athlete average. So make sure your athletes are fueled properly and they are meeting all the nutrient needs, so they can having a best performance with the less risk of the sports injury. Thank you. Thank you so much.